All right, we are live for another Thursday's Top Tips in Real Estate here on the Arrow Title Services page. And today's topic you're not going to want to miss because it's very relevant to our very hot market right now. And we are going to be talking about out-of-state buyers. Now, our market is crazy. We all know this, right? But we have a very huge influx of out-of-state buyers coming to town. So we are going to discuss, like we do all the time when we come onto these live videos, we are going to have a discussion with local realtors and lenders and talk about this subject. And you guys can tune in and hear us throughout. We've got a couple of different portions of this. We go through the topic. Each person gets an opportunity to be able to showcase their portion of the topic. And then we go into a discussion portion, and then we have our number one top tip of the week. So there's great information all throughout. And if you guys ever have any questions, you can reach out to the local professionals who are on here by just going to the description of this video and clicking their Facebook pages to ask them some more questions. So yeah, really excited to get into this, guys. It's going to be a good topic, and we are going to start off with Alannah. So tell us, what is your insight on out-of-state buyers in this market?
Whew. Well, I'm so happy to be here, Lucy, and this is a great topic. I hope lots of them tune in today. They're everywhere. They're all over the place right now. They are inundating our buyer pool, and that's not a bad thing. I welcome people here, but I definitely want them to have reasonable expectations with the idea behind purchasing in here right now. You are not dealing with a couple of years ago where you were able to get something with a great deal or negotiate a lower price point. That is not the state of our current market. So if that is your expectation with shopping down here, you're not going to have a phenomenal time, and it's not going to be a fast process for you. Other things to anticipate is that there are a lot of local buyers and other out-of-state buyers that are competing with you down here. So what is crucial is for you to get connected with both a localized lender in the area you are moving to. I don't mean local where you are in New Jersey. I mean local in Port St. Lucie or Martin counties, anywhere that you are headed. Get a local lender there because they're familiar with what's going on there, and they're going to be able to best serve you. The same thing goes with an agent. The same thing goes with a title company. You want to get connected with people here that can be doing your legwork for you, and you want to be building trust with them, because that is a lot bigger benefit than trying to A, go it alone, or B, try to find a way to skirt the deal. I've seen so many potential buyers posting on Facebook that they want to buy directly from a seller and they want a connection for that. I'm telling you, that is not a winning strategy right now in our market. Get yourself a great team and do your homework on where you want to be going. There is so much more to dip into on this, but I really don't want to monopolize the conversation. So I'm going to lob it back to you, Lucy, and I can't wait for our discussion about this.
Thank you, Alannah. Great start to the conversation with some great insight. There are so many facets of those out-of-state buyers coming here, and you drop some huge gems when it comes to using those local professionals who are going to know the area and really help you be most competitive in this market. So great tips there. And we will bring it to Eric. And please go ahead and give us your insight on the topic.
All right, so Eric Griemsmann with eXp Realty. I just want to hammer in what Alannah has been saying. It's really important on getting yourself a local team. I understand that coming from another state is very difficult, especially if you have to sell your current home in order to purchase the new home down here. We are seeing less, a little bit less than that right now in the market because everybody's already cashed in, and it's just a lot of the out-of-state buyers have their cash in hand and they're coming down and doing $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 over asking price because they just need to get into something. But hiring your local professionals that know this market is super important. I can't stress that enough. And that's really all I have to say about it.
Awesome. Thanks, Eric. Great addition to that. Local professionals are a huge piece of that puzzle, especially navigating waters that they don't know. Waters, because we're here in Florida. So yes, great. And I'm excited to hear too, delving a little bit deeper into that with the discussion portion too. And we'll go ahead and throw it over to Codi, still on the realtor side of things, because we're talking to realtors and lenders here. Eric Rosberg is a lender. So excited to hear his portion, but Codi, go ahead and take us away.
Hello. Glad to be back. Codi with Bourgeois Real Estate Group. The out-of-state buyer thing is just a crazy situation. I mean, the difference in economies, I think, is driving a lot of it. And I agree with, a lot of Eric. I mean, it's good for you to get local, your local professionals, because, I know that they're, just trying to get into something. I know that, inventory is low and all of that, but there might be something out there that kind of fits your needs. I mean, maybe you want to be in a certain area. Maybe you need to be in a certain area. Maybe you want to be close to, things that you like to do. You get a local professional, they can help you navigate, all of those things that all of those little quirks that you might want to fit in. So, it's very important that you get people that know this market, that can help you navigate all of the politics that come with it. I know it's appealing to people, to out-of-state buyers, because the economies are so different. Everything down in Florida might look like a bargain to people coming from California or New York. But at the same time, you don't want to just buy anything, because you might be stuck with, other problems that you can't get out of in the end. So that's my take on it.
That is great insight, Codi. I'm so glad that you brought up just the fact that people who are coming here are getting a deal when they come to Florida. So a lot of people don't think about that, especially the locals, and I'm definitely going to delve into that in the discussion portion. But before we get into discussion, I want to head it off onto the lending side of things, which is another crucial aspect of buying a house anywhere. And so hearing from the out-of-state buyer's perspective for lending, I'm excited to hear from Eric. So Eric Rosberg, take it away.
Thank you, Lucy. Eric Rosberg, Cross Country Mortgage. And I love this topic. Number one, I am not from Florida. I live in Florida. I've been here for 3.5 years. And I moved to Florida not knowing a lot about it. And it's very different. I moved from New England. So I'm just going to kind of piggyback what everybody said. I didn't know the right areas. I've moved a couple times since I've been here, because I really didn't know exactly the right areas. So it is extremely important to use one of these local professionals to guide you. Hey, this is the school system. You want to know the right area. When it comes to lending, we're getting, like it was talked about, we're getting a lot of buyers. You're coming from New York, Chicago. I have one coming from Seattle, all over the place. And I've talked to certain clients, and they've said, hey, I'm going with ABC big box banks or different lenders. And number one, what you're finding is a lot of times, yes, they can do the transaction, but to win the bid, when you're actually putting that offer in, you want to work the listing agent. And I think you guys on here who are realtors will back me up. You want to see that offer letter coming from a local lender. So that's where it's really important. There are some other guidelines. Lucy's going to, I'm sure, get into the difference in the title fees, intangible tax, and there's some differences state to state. But the biggest reason to use a local lender is to make sure, aside from the guideline differences, and in my world, it's pretty easy to work with, you want to get your.
Absolutely. Oh, Eric, you muted right there last minute there. What was your last sentence you said?
I was saying over to you, Lucy.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Yes. No. Oh God. Using those local lenders is so important. And from the title side of things, which a lot of people don't know how we kind of fit into it all, because there's three major pieces of the home buying process. There's your realtor, there's your lender, and then there's your title company who is doing the closing for you guys. So it's a well-oiled machine when we're all working together seamlessly. And so we work with a lot of lenders and a lot of realtors and such like that. Even, you know, he's seeing realtors who are coming from up down south and coming to this area and not really knowing our area and kind of the ins and outs of it and such like that. But local lenders, we obviously don't choose a lender when it comes to the process. So we're just kind of working with whoever the buyer has in that moment. But the difference from a local lender and the seamless process to using a big bank or a big, I won't say big bank, but I'll say like those lenders who are out of state and not in this area, it's night and day. It's literally night and day. Because if they're in Arizona or they're in California, they're in a different time zone, they don't care about you as much as a local lender would, because they care about this area and they're less accommodating. I'll say that. And I'm not trying to badmouth anyone or whatever it might be. It's just the fact that, you know, with the time differences, they're just not in the local area. They don't know what's going on. And the numbers thing as well, like having the direct line to someone is so important. There's so many aspects where we have to call a number and then like we have to like try and like get through to like someone else. And it's not a direct line to someone. With a local lender or a local realtor and such like that, you're going to get that absolute connection to them. It's probably going to be their cell phone number, and you're going to be able to contact them easier. Contact and communication is the biggest and most important thing in our process. We have talked about that time and time again in just these shows and such. So, but going into a little bit back into the topic of out-of-state buyers, there's so much to unpack with this whole conversation. So we've already talked about just a little bit of those pieces, and now we're going to go to the discussion portion where we're going to talk even further into it. But I'd love for you guys to kind of give some insight on maybe what percentage are you seeing of buyers that are coming, that you guys are working with, that are out of state? Are they local people trying to purchase local, or are they people from out of the state trying to purchase in here? We've always here in Florida had a huge influx of people from the Northeast coming here, but we're seeing a lot of traction from other areas as well. So I'd love to hear your opinions on that, and just influxes in those costs of living as well. If we want to kind of open up this discussion, start there.
Yeah. So I was recently talking to a person about listing a property for them, and it's to the point now where they are changing demographics. So this particular person owns a boutique in an area, and she's ready to sell now because her whole demographic is changing. Like the people that were there are downsizing, moving away, dying off, and now there's an influx of, you know, different younger ages, and I mean all kind of age group differences, and I mean the whole demographic is just changing for us. So she's got to make a change now. There's a lot of investors coming here, just buying sight unseen. This whole thing is changing. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it is. Demographics all over the place. Go ahead, Eric.
One of the things I just wanted to add was I'm glad that somebody brought it up about, you know, a lot of the out of towners think that they're getting a deal down here. You know, little do they know that we're at the height of our market, you know, so it's not to scare anybody or anything like that. Like, we don't foresee the real estate market doing anything crazy, but you're buying at a peak, you know, for our market. You might be selling at you know, for good up in your area, but just making sure you hire that local professional to help you make sure that you're getting that deal that you're claiming you're getting. And, you know, it goes into so many other things. You know, I've heard the rumors of, you know, state tax and all that. You know, there's just so much that really goes into why they're moving here. So I just wanted to throw that in there as well, as like, you yes, you're getting a deal compared to what you're paying up in wherever you're coming from, but it's still at the height of the market down here.
And I think a good way to put that as well, how I describe it to people is that the locals think the locals are hurting the most right now. The
Right.
locals are feeling it because they're not getting paid anymore. The market's going up. They're not necessarily getting paid more. And these people are also starting to work remotely now. They're in their homes more and such like that. So we have people that are coming from these high ticket areas, New York, California. I mean, a lot of places have a higher cost of living, even down south in Miami and Fort Lauderdale, and they're kind of coming right here to the Treasure Coast. But in those places, it's getting something for $400,000 is a whole nother story. You can get it's like a mansion you get here compared to what they're getting. They're getting like a 1 bedroom, 1 bath, and so when they come here, I tell people, and in an extreme way, I say, it's like them going to the dollar store because they're like, oh, this is a great deal. But then the locals, they're like, oh, well, the prices are going up and, I can't afford that. Or they think, oh, well, I'm just going to wait for it to crash or what. They have all these ideas in their head that they're trickling through and they're like, it's got to come down at some point. And it's like, it hasn't come down in a really long time. We're building, our area is building up. We are growing. People more and more each day are, one, moving to Florida, but two, learning about our area and the treasures that are within it and the Treasure Coast. So it's like, it's a growing area. And as more people get to know it, I always call it I say it's a word of mouth town, because I'm born and raised here. And I always ask someone, I'm like, hey, how did you hear about here? How did you actually end up here? And want to know what 90% of them say. They don't do their research like Eric was, or what they were saying, they don't do it. And they're like, yeah, this is the perfect area. They're like, my aunt was here. My mom was here. My uncle was here. My friend was here.
That's how I got here.
That's how they find out. Literally, yeah. Raise your hand if you knew someone who was here.
I came here because my mom moved here first.
Exactly. So they know about it from family members and people that they know. So it's a word of mouth area because it's not the first place you think of when you come to Florida, Miami, Orlando, like Port St. Lucie isn't there. Stewart isn't there, So it's very interesting to see that influx. The more people talk about it, the more it gets out there. The more people that come and they have the money to do it. And as long as people have money, it's not.
They can get the job done.
Yeah, it gets the job done.
I kind of said in a previous segment it's creating a new baseline.
Yes.
Right.
But they still want to beware because, even though this might seem like a bargain for you, you don't want to spend to the point where you're exceeding appreciation. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you don't
I mean,
end up
to
losing
Eric's,
in the end. So you need to make sure
point,
you know somebody who can tell you what's what.
Yeah, you don't want to be at the peak of a market and then paying $40,000 over the appraised value of that peak of the market to be able to score the house that you want with the expectation that the value is going to skyrocket. And as long as your expectations are lined up and you understand what you're doing, and this is what you want, period, end of story. As long as that's the attitude that you're purchasing with, you know what, if you've got the money, do it. But don't let anyone feed you something. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. There are a lot of things that we can caution out-of-state buyers to be prepared for and aware of. Our homestead taxes down here, it lends a perception that our taxes are so like 50% of what, say, a New Yorker's taxes are. And those change. And if you don't have a professional who's actually really invested in your successful process, they might not just tell you that. You can expect it to go up for a period of time, and then it being a primary residence, you have the ability to homestead it and bring it back to this range. We can give guidelines and help just kind of shape those expectations so that whatever your process is, it's a good one. It has a good outcome because we're invested in that.
Well said, Alannah. I love that.
Absolutely.
So Lucy, you had asked what the percentage is, and I can tell you what my percentage is personally for out-of-state buyers is 56% for the state for the month of May. 56% of my loans.
Wow.
So 50-50. But I'll tell you what, coming from New England, because this segment is about out-of-state buyers, it's such a beautiful place to live. Port St. Lucie it's just gorgeous. If you have the money and you can work remotely and you can keep your job or you can find something down here, it's a beautiful place to be.
It really is. And I just love the fact that we are expanding, even Martin, I live in Martin County as well. But I service the Port St. Lucie. I never thought. I was born and raised in Martin County, 37 years. I'm one of the few natives that are still around town. We're actually becoming less and less, but I never thought that they could build more in Martin County, but I'm seeing places going up in Martin County that I never thought they were going to build.
Yeah.
They've been so creative.
Bananas, man.
Apartment complexes like all over the place.
So we're just in the expansion phase, and everybody just needs to kind of relax, take a deep breath. We will all get there.
Absolutely.
I never thought Port St. Lucie would turn out the way it did. I mean, like, it's getting to the point now where some people can't afford to live here.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, it's amazing.
Well, and it's expanding out too. So the areas that aren't as popular are getting more traction now, like Fort Pierce, like out west in Fort Pierce, we're going to keep building out tradition until they hit Okeechobee.
Well, listen, and it's so funny because us locals are snobs, right? If we're not within 10 minutes of a beach, we think we got a poor deal. But people coming from elsewhere who have to drive 8 to 12 to 24 hours to get to a beach, they don't think an hour's a big deal. They don't think west of 95 is offensive. And honestly, we need that sort of mentality to allow us to build and grow and actually have people to fill the places that we're creating for them. So I appreciate their being here. I'm all about, and I'd say, answering your question, Lucy, I'd say about 40% of my buyer pool is out of state buyers. 40% over the last year or so, just counting out my transactions in my head. Yeah.
That's crazy. It's a crazy percentage, and we've always had a high percentage here from the Northeast, but it's interesting to now see people trickling in from other states now. It's not just the Northeast now, or, we were seeing people from California, we're seeing people from even Canada is trying to move here, and like all of these different areas, Kansas, Louisiana, like random states that, you wouldn't think that they would want to whatever, like,
well, if you want paradise
here.
Yeah, you want paradise, but you don't want to pay California prices. Florida's the next thing. Like, that's what we think of.
Well, in California too, like, I'm very interested to see how the markets of those big cities are going to really change in the next few years. With remote work being as big as it is, I don't know how those cities are going to be able to stay,
well, I've had some insight on that. Is like, I have a lot of family up in Long Island, New York, and they're telling me it's ghost towns up there now.
Wow.
It's their markets are really taking a hit, and I have family that are calling me and they're like, we're trying to sell here so we can move there. And I'm like, well, good luck. I mean, I'm here to assist you, but that's not obviously looking too good on the sell side,
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very interesting market we're in.
They're going to have to lower their taxes. They're going to have to be inclusive of newer technologies, I guess, to keep people there, because the way it's going.
Well, yeah. Well, and not for nothing, maybe it's an opportunity, not to toot the title horn too bad, Lucy, but we have a really fantastic process for transactions here. A lot of other states, they operate through attorneys, and the structure of power between realtor representative and lender representative is completely different in some of those places. And so it makes the whole transaction process more tedious. It makes it longer. There's more people in the telephone game to get the job done. And so I think they're finding it's a lot easier to go through a transaction here, whether they're buying or selling, than somewhere else. And that's another opportunity where I hope our other neighbor states grow to be able to better serve the people that are still there.
Absolutely. We have a lot of people who they're like, wait, I don't have to use an attorney. And they're like, oh, thanks Jesus. Like, so they're excited about that because they'd rather not go through that like whole aspect of using an attorney. And a lot of people don't know that we have the choice. You have the choice. You can still use an attorney in Florida. You just have the choice between attorney or title company. And I think it's a strength of the title company that is all that we do here in the state of Florida. That's all we do is closings and title insurance and just making sure that you guys are taken care of. That is our 100% focus. So
let me ask this question. I honestly don't know the answer. Are there all attorneys in a title company? Because I know some.
Oh, that's a great question, Eric. And that's one of the biggest questions that we get, because people think if they're using a title company that there's no attorney package or whatever it might be. So we have a team. We have an underwriter. Old Republic Title is our underwriter, and they have a team of attorneys that if we need anything or if anything goes astray or we need whatever it might be, we have them in our pocket. We also have a local attorney that we speak to if there's ever something that we have direct contact to them and we can get an answer with them very quickly. So we have access to attorneys, and if there's something that is needed by an attorney, we have that access, and that's really all you need.
Good to know.
Yeah. But that is a big question as well, because people think that they are safer with an attorney, but we're going all by the same regulations. Title insurance is state regulated, the process and everything like that. It's all done the same, just with customer service.
So a fun story, and this kind of tags along with what we're talking about. One of my closings on Friday, she flew in from New York. It's a second home. She's owned multiple properties in New York, and she was like, "This is it. It's this easy." Like she was just, because I asked her how was everything. She was like, it was too easy. So
Good.
you know.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I mean, and there's some people who like want to have their attorney, they have their specific attorney that maybe doesn't do closings or whatever, and they want that guidance, and we work with them all the time too. So sometimes there's an attorney involved in the process and just being communicated with, and we try to make it as easy as possible. Our whole goal is to make it a smooth closing and as seamless as possible with giving you the information that you need, because there are so many moving parts. So
well, and I love that Eric brought that up just now. It's so important for out-of-state buyers, because those are who we're talking to today, to understand that if you are, if this is going to be a secondary purchase for you, then it's definitely extra important to be talking to a local lender, because they can adequately express to you the way that your loan will be structured as a result of that, the way your taxes will line up as a result of that, to really prepare you for exactly what you're getting into. The benefits are different when you are a secondary purchaser or purchasing an investment property.
That's very true. And I actually have a statistic on that really quick, because we have a lot of cash transactions happening in our market right now. And a lot of that is from out-of-state buyers too, because if they're selling on their properties that, again, we were talking about are very expensive, and they're coming down here and getting way more house for way less. A lot of them are taking that cash and just buying cash as well. So it's not just investors, just people with cash as well. And if they're trying to be competitive in this market, that 23% of all transactions are cash offers right now.
Wow.
One of the statistics that we just got from our underwriter. So
wow.
Very
it's funny. I've noticed Codi, Eric, I'd like to know if you guys are experiencing the same thing with your out-of-state buyers. Are you noticing that for whatever reason, our locals are more interested in having a newer property, and out-of-state buyers, I'm finding, as long as things are well maintained or in good shape, or they know the standing of it before they move forward with it, they don't seem challenged by the same thing. And considering a lot of our stuff was built between the 60s and the 80s, and moving and getting newer as we head northish and westish, I'm just noticing that that's a trend with my out-of-state buyers. Are you guys seeing the same thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting how that might be a factor shaping their success acquiring a home that they might be willing to pay more for despite its age, with a different perspective of value?
I think it's because of the difference in market. Everything where they're from is so expensive and so old. They're not really challenged about buying older properties, because they know what the they see the appreciation. And again, it seems like it's a great deal to them because it's probably half what they're spending where they're coming from.
Yeah,
So
and they're
it doesn't
paying for
matter
the
to them.
area. Yeah.
So now the people that are here, they see their older properties appreciate. So they're like, oh, well, wait a minute, let me get a newer property and then it'll be worth more. And
we have to think
Just the
about
mindset.
our area too, because our area is relatively newer compared to some of these other areas that people are coming from that are older. So their houses up there are probably older in worse condition because of the crazy weather that they have. We have our own crazy weather, but it's not the same, whereas they have a lot more wear and tear on their houses because of snow and, you know, just all the seasons that they have going through there. So we only have to worry about hurricane season, and our housing is very
Built for it.
yeah, it's very good for it. You know, they have prepared our housing, and they've made, even with all the new construction, having impact windows and having, you know, just all of these aspects that they're trying to keep up with the weather down here. It's just like cars last longer in Florida than they do in other states.
Mhm.
So when they come to the houses here, even though they might be older, if they're maintained well and in good condition, then they're not worried about it. Whereas, again, it's that local perspective, the local perspective where you're like, oh, well, this market's just too high. No. Like, or whatever it might be. Like if you lived in a newer home and then now you're like, oh, well, this newer home used to be this much. Like there's so much comparison that goes on. I mean, you can even compare it between Martin County and St. Lucie County, because along the Treasure Coast, we have a bunch of different areas here. But if you just do Martin County to St. Lucie County, the same house you're going to get in Martin County at $250,000 is going to be way smaller, way older than a house that you're going to get in Port St. Lucie for the same amount of money.
Where are you getting a house in Martin County for $250,000?
You're not, exactly. But they do it like they do
100K.
exist, but they are not what you're getting in Port St. Lucie. Is
They're
my
not
point.
what you're looking for that price point. That's
Correct.
that's a significant amount of money. That's a
Mhm.
$250,000.
Yeah.
You don't want to buy a dumpster fire that you have to replace the ins and outs of before it's deemed habitable. That's not what you want to
Yeah, but
spend
listen,
$250,000
that's the
on.
thing, is that with these out-of-state people, if they can spend 250 grand on a fixer-upper, and let's say they got to dump another 250 in it, they don't care, because where they came from, they just got 800,000. So, you know, for a dumpster fire. So they don't care about fixing up this dumpster fire. And then it might be
The dumpster
worth, I don't know,
fire might
600,000 when
have
they're done.
charm to them.
You know what? It might be charmingly 8 minutes from the beach. We don't know. But
True. And Martin County is closer to the beach than Port St. Lucie is.
It is.
Yeah.
So we're the snobs that don't want to be.
the locals
don't wanna be on the other
definitely
side.
have the highest standards and the cheapest attitude, and that's okay. I love you guys. I'm right there with you.
I mean, I'm a local, and
I'm just
I'm
looking in the
definitely
mirror,
snobs in
honestly.
that respect. Yeah, I didn't want to be too far from US 1 because I'm always in downtown Stewart. I'm like, I don't want to be by 95. I want to be in downtown Stewart. That's where I spend my time.
The locals are hurting, and this is a totally different subject, is especially with these older homes, is now insurance rates are coming up
Through the roof.
It's becoming a bruiser in a lot of transactions right now.
Now you have Martin County, for example, you have all these, like Alannah said, is 1960s to 1980 homes that insurance companies are now deeming risk because, you know, but there's
a lot of reasons for that
say that they're more structurally sound than a lot of the newer stuff that I would say being
They've
built.
endured a lot of hell and come out on the other side.
Yeah, they're
You know
still
what's
here.
what's amazing to me lately is I see a lot of, you can go down the street and there is such a mixture of older homes and newer homes. It's like, I mean, just at glance, you're like, how do you compare these?
No, there's a lot of differences in like just the way that the houses are built. They're built completely differently than what they were. You can like look at a house and almost see from the outside when it was built, 60s, 70s.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like it's crazy.
Yeah, it's just,
But it's interesting as well to see how much Port St. Lucie is building up and what that's going to look like in the next 5-10 years, because there's all these new houses being built up out there. And some of them are cookie cutter, I call them, you know, just very like, look all the same from the outside and maybe the same in the inside. And it's very interesting. So it's going to be it's going to be interesting. But you know, the out-of-state buyers, like you were saying, I think really the new construction is being filtered, or just like being filtered in through those people who are locals who want like that newer home, and they already live here, so they're willing to wait or whatever it might be. The people who are moving from out of state might not have the ability to be able to wait as long. So when they come here, they're okay with taking those options because, one, just like Eric said, Eric didn't even know where he per se wanted to be. And there's different lifestyles in different areas. It's different living in Port St. Lucie than it is Martin County, that it is living in Jupiter, than it is living in Vero. It's all Palm City. They all have different lifestyles. And if you don't know where your lifestyle fits in because you're not from here, then you have to come here and figure it out. And that's okay.
And you have to talk to us, all of us here.
Yeah, exactly. No,
Right. Find one of us.
Yeah, no, and that's what's so important about having that local professional that's going to explain it to you, because there was even a time where I think even Alannah and Eric, you guys were there, Rosberg, we were talking on Clubhouse about just, there was a investor talking about Okeechobee, and we're just like, he was talking about Okeechobee like he was going to make that the next Martin County. And I said, you know,
it might just be, because I got a lot of people who are looking for rentals here that can't find them, and that's where they're going.
It's interesting. It's interesting to see. There's definitely going to be traction in Okeechobee, just not maybe what his vision was. But
And well, Lucy, he was
The vision
very
is where
out
they're
of
coming
state.
from. Yeah, they're not coming from here to Okeechobee. They're coming from elsewhere to Okeechobee, where they don't have an opinion already about how far that is away from the beach to that point before. That's the biggest thing, right?
No,
Is
no,
that
I'm talking about people who are living here. They were living with someone or whatever happened with the
Yeah.
property that they're in. They're trying to find something else and they can't, so they're going out there.
what were you saying, Eric? Sorry.
He was calling in from Hawaii, I
I thought
believe.
he was in the Northeast. Well,
Maybe I'm confused. We had somebody from Hawaii.
we had a few.
we did.
people. Yeah.
We did. We had a few of them.
I'm confusing them then.
Yeah. It
Either
was
way,
very interesting,
it's
though,
far
because-
away.
Yeah, it was very interesting because his vision for Okeechobee was interesting. So I was just, you know, it's like, you got to visit these places and you got to see them and have the conversation with local professionals who know the ins and outs and the cultures of different areas and what you're looking for, what you're trying to achieve there. So I think the biggest thing for out-of-state buyers, and I know how easy it is to go online, guys. I know how easy it is to just go online and be like, doop, 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 doop. Oh, like, and you think it's done. It's not done. It's, you know, there's so much that goes into it. Interview your professional. We did a video on that. Make sure you're having someone who is going to work hard for you down here. And I'll tell you right now, any of the local professionals on here on this call right now are taking time out of their day to share with you guys this information. Every week that we do this, it's valuable information. So these are the ones who are going to care to take that extra step for you. But just people who know the area, know the different programs that are going on. If it's a lender, if you have the different programs, and even to that point too as well, because I did mention earlier about how many people are purchasing with cash. There are a lot of people saying that they have the cash to back it up and saying they're willing to pay cash, but then they're still getting mortgages because mortgages are so low right now. So there's lots going on, and it's changing all the time. It's changing every day. And I'm sure we're going to hear some updates as well, because we have our top tips in real estate next subject coming up. And does everybody else have any last minute things before we move on to our number one top tip of the week?
I wanted to throw out another crucial nugget that I think our buyers from out of state need to know. Let's see if I can find it now that I've called attention to myself.
Just look over the bridge.
You know what? It has escaped me, but it'll come back in time for my tips, I'm sure.
Okay.
Oh, hey, I found it.
Found
it. It's here. I grabbed it. So guys, when you in your nicest possible ways ask us professionals, both realtors and lenders, I'm sure we experience it the same. When you ask us to steer you to and from demographics, we are not allowed to do that. That is not what we do. It will be a lot more beneficial to you in your conversations with your professionals to get really nitty gritty with the lifestyle you want to have. because that is such a great point that Lucy and all of us have chimed in on. If I know that you want to be barefoot and, hanging out in perpetual sunshine, I can get you there. And that is going to go a lot farther than you telling me, oh, you don't want to be around those insert people. It doesn't help us. Tell us the lifestyle you want to have, and we will take great care of you and get you there. That is my final thought.
Thank you, Alannah. That is a great additional point to throw in there as well. Lifestyle is all about what it's be. What's your daily life going to be? That's all that matters. So thanks, Alannah. And we're going to go on to the number one top tip of the week, guys, because this is Thursday's top tips in real estate. And if you guys did just miss our amazing discussion about out-of-state buyers, you better rewind or rewatch on our YouTube channel. We have all of the replays of all of our shows that we've done with different topics. We haven't repeated a topic on our YouTube channel, Arrow Title Services. You can subscribe there, go to the playlist and see all of the different topics and pick your fancy. So it was a great topic. Make sure you rewatch it. These amazing professionals. We are so thankful for the local professionals who come on here to share their big brains in real estate with us, and really just to take the time out of their day to talk about these topics that are very important and that a lot of people have misconceptions about. So very thankful for you guys. We're going to get into the number one top tip of the week, and we're going to have Alannah start us off.
Okay, well, Alannah's still here with EXP. My top tip for this week is to ask a lot of questions of your local professionals. Wherever you're going, get people there. Don't work with people where you are.
Love it. Thank you, Alannah. Great tip. Go ahead, Eric Griemsmann.
All right, so my top tip is, like Alannah touched on right before the tip, is get granular with your search. If you have a certain lifestyle that you are looking to accomplish, get very granular so we can send exactly the houses that you truly want to see and not waste anybody's time on, finding something that they don't.
Great tip. Great tip. Thank you, Eric. What about you, Codi?
Relationships are important as well. Doesn't matter how much money you have or where you're coming from. Kind of reiterates the point of getting local professionals, because if you get a team that knows what they're doing and knows the area and knows the people and the other professionals, that could make your transaction that much easier as well.
Absolutely. We all have local connections that are willing to drop at a dime. So it's awesome. Yeah. Thank you, Codi. Eric, lending side, top tip of the week.
All right. Eric Rosberg, Cross Country Mortgage. Top tip for lending: when you're moving from out of state and you're gonna maintain the same job you have, meaning you can work remotely, your lender, your local lender, Eric Rosberg at Cross Country Mortgage, just a little plug there, is going to ask for a document. It's called a verification of employment form, which is going to show that you have the ability to work remotely. A remote access letter is going to be part of that verification of employment. Top tip: make sure your employer is going to sign off on that.
That is a good point. You want them to be on the same point. Make sure they know you're buying a house. Love that. Thank you, Eric. And my number one top tip of the week is going to be kind of twofold. One, for those of you guys who don't know, we mentioned it earlier with the whole out-of-state buyers, a lot of them knowing attorneys and such like that. You do have the choice of title insurance from a title company or an attorney in the state of Florida. But title insurance itself is state regulated. So we don't make up these numbers. They are state regulated no matter where you go, no matter where you close. So that is a conversation to be had. The only thing that really fluctuates much is the closing fee or whatever it might be. And that is completely dependent on your area. But it's a conversation. It's all about what I tell people is the customer service that you're getting. And that's from any professional that you're getting, that customer service and communication that you are receiving from your local professional. And then I also just wanted to say, don't get discouraged. I know it's a very hard market. I know that there is 1,000,001 homes that people are trying to get into, and there's 1,000,001 deals on each and every one of them. But from a positive point of view, If you are coming from out of state and you are unfamiliar with how houses are set up here and how kind of the flow of houses go here, it's actually a good thing to go into all of these houses still and kind of see the flow of them so that you can get that more defined list of what you want in that house. And that's something that you obviously speak with your realtor about, but seeing the homes and like just kind of how they're structured differently than up north is going to be something that's going to be beneficial for you to get a better idea so that you can narrow it down and find what you actually want to put your marbles into. So that was some great tips. Does anybody have any announcements that they would like to make before we end it? No? Okay.
Codi Fletcher Realtor, I am here. Find
Yeah,
me.
so Eric.
Social network, I'm here.
Thank you, Codi. Yes, Eric Griemsmann, Codi Fletcher, and Alannah Ghazal are all realtors local here along the Treasure Coast, and Eric Rosberg is a lender. And all of these local professionals are completely willing. A conversation is free. Do not hesitate to reach out to them. You can reach out to them on their Facebook pages, which are linked in the description of this video. You can reach out to them directly. It's great just to follow them and keep up to date with them already, whether you're looking to buy now or in a year from now or whatever it might be. Have the connection, ask your questions. They're all willing to be able to speak with you. And again, if you enjoyed this, or if you're just tuning in now and you didn't watch what we just talked about in this episode where we're talking about out-of-state buyers, make sure you guys rewatch it either here on Facebook or on our YouTube channel, Arrow Title Services. Subscribe to us. And we are here. We're here every other week. We also have a market update Monday that we do with local realtors, and we talk about the selling side of things. So this episodes are for the buyer side of things. And we really just want to help educate people on what is going on in our local market. And we are so thankful for the local professionals who came on here today and every week to share with us. So thank you guys.
And we answer our phones.
They answer their phones. They do, because I have to call them, tell them to come on here. No, I'm just kidding. And they're here. No, love it. You guys are great. Very much appreciate you. And to all you guys who are watching, we hope you guys have an amazing rest of your week. We hope you enjoyed this. Leave a comment if you've got some, and we're here for you. So thank you guys, and we will see you guys soon. Talk soon. Bye.